So hopefully you've been hired by an agent to shoot a listing. I want to talk about your first shoot and the things to keep in mind before and during your shoot. First, before your shoot, make sure you're using a calendar to keep track of your appointments. I use Google Calendar because it's free and easy to use. For your first shoot, block off at least an hour or an hour and a half to give yourself plenty of time at the property. The amount of time you spend will also depend on the square footage of the house, so just keep that in mind when you're scheduling. The second thing to keep in mind is to set expectations. Here are a few questions you should ask when scheduling your shoot. What is the address and square footage? Do you need aerial photos or just interior and exterior photos? When do you need the photos back? Who should I send the photos to? What's a good email address to send the photos to? Can you bring a check to the shoot? Don't assume that the agent's going to give you this information. If you set those expectations up front, things will run more smoothly. Third, be professional. Wear business casual clothing. Be on time or a few minutes early. Be polite to the client as well as the homeowner. You can even compliment their home and tell them how nice it looks. You need to remember what the homeowner is going through to sell this house. They've probably put in a lot of time and money into getting the house ready for you to come and take pictures. So be friendly and be complimentary. Fourth, take your time. This is especially important on your first shoot. I still remember on my first shoot, I set my bag down on the floor and forgot to move it out of the way when I took photos of one of the rooms. When I went to edit the photos, there it was, an empty room with my bag sitting there. The client noticed as well, but I learned from that mistake and I rarely bring my bag into the shoot anymore. I'll set my camera up outside and leave my bag in the car. A quick side note, if you make a mistake like I did with leaving my bag in the photo, don't worry. You can either let that mistake bring you down, or you can learn from it and make adjustments for the next shoot. Also, don't be afraid to ask people to move things out of the way. This will feel weird on your first couple of shoots because you'll most likely feel uncomfortable asking your client or the seller to do things. But you need to remember that they look at you as the professional. If you see a sponge on the sink, ask them if you or they can move it. If there's a laundry basket on the washer, ask them if they can move it somewhere while you take the photo. Again, be polite about it. Don't bark orders at people, but just ask nicely if it would be okay if they moved what's in the way. If you're not sure if something should be moved, use the realtor as a resource. Usually they'll have a preference, but a good general rule is when in doubt, take it out. If there's a blanket or something on the couch and you're not sure if it looks good, first ask the realtor. If they're not sure, most likely you should just take it out. In reality, the little things that people stress over in the photos are not going to make a difference. But again, be polite about it and respect what your client or the homeowner decides. If they want the blanket in, keep it in. Lastly, overshoot your first couple of homes. With this being your first shoot, I would suggest taking more photos than you think you should. Try different angles in each room. Use this time to experiment. You don't have to deliver every photo you take, but this will allow you to see what works and what doesn't, and you can get a variety of shots. You can use this shoot as an opportunity to practice. So that's it for your first shoot. Don't be too nervous. Just realize that you will make mistakes and that you will be okay with that. I'm telling you right now, it will not go perfectly, but you can learn from those mistakes and move on. In the next video, we'll talk about what happens after your first shoot and how to deliver your photos. Let me know if you have any questions about your first shoot, and remember, keep shooting. Swish.